What's up, everybody? We're going to be getting going here in just a few minutes, so let's get this chat engaged. How you feeling? Where are you tuned in from? What are you up to? Are you scared for the price action this weekend? There's no reason to be scared. We got the charts, we got the TA, we got this double major collab on academies today with Piper Academy and BitLab Academy. Army Piper's in the house. We're going to be getting going here in about 3 minutes, so I want to see everybody getting involved here in the chat, hitting that like button. Let's do it. Alexander G says, dump it. Those of us that understand how this market works, we want it to dump right now because that's opportunity, baby. Are you guys ready for opportunity? Let's go. Thoughts on Popcat? Never even heard of it. Maybe I'll look into it off stream, but I've never heard of it, so I'm not going to pull it up on here. Justin Eubanks in the house. He says, yo, BitLab, let's freaking go. We got, who else we got here? Renegade Designers, what's up? Thank you for being here and smashing that like. Theo Rodriguez, how you doing? Atropine here with the early bulls. Got those Bitcoin bull emojis. Love it. Now everybody, we got Newark JK, what's up? Happy Friday, Cargo. All these members in the house. We're going to be getting going here in about a little over 2 minutes. So let's vibe to the tunes and we'll be getting going here in a moment. What's up, everybody? DJ Kellam in the house, bringing you the smooth jams, charts, TA for your liking. We got a high pressure system showing that there's an indication of movement in this area. What area is it? We're going to talk about it. So wherever you're at, whether in your car or in your bathroom or in your kitchen, you got the phone in your pocket. Let's freaking go! Mr. J says, alumni here. What's up? How many of you have been in our alumni of the BitLab Academy or are currently in it? We've been making a lot of changes in the Discord lately, a lot more value, a lot more offerings. Everybody's contributing from Joshua Jake to TA Tim to DZ to myself, John Dalton, Corduroy, TJ. There's so many people in there. Alexander G's in there all the time as well, and Alex Green doing sessions. I hope you're enjoying it. If you haven't explored around in the BitLab Discord lately, what are you doing? Get in there, get involved. Let's make this a community. Everybody, we're getting going here in just about a minute. So hold on to your boots because we're going to knock your socks off. Question is, are you ready? Hit that like button. I think it's time to get it. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. My name's Kelly Kellam. Welcome to the show. Now, so much is on the chopping block right now. Is it going to put, are the bulls going to take over? Is it about to pump out of control? Is there another dump in store? What time frame are we looking at? What assets? Where's our portfolio at? Everybody wants it to go up, but it can't go up without us managing it in the right way or not mismanaging it in the wrong way. So you got to ask yourself, what's your goal? What are you looking for? And what's your risk tolerance? We got two academies in the house today with myself and Army Piper. So I'll be throwing to him in here just a moment. But I got to ask each and every one of you as we start this stream, we got some roll call time going right now. It's the start of class. So let me know in the chat, even if you did it pre-stream, where are you tuned in from? What are you doing? Are you feeling bullish? Are you feeling bearish? Are you going to sit on your hands this weekend going into this pre-ETF chop, which I'm sure we're going to get because they're going to try and move the price in both directions. And if you're not prepared, you very well could get chopped out. So without any further ado, everybody hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and it's time to throw it to our supreme and wonderful guest, Mr. Army Piper. How you doing, good sir? How are you feeling? And thank you for being here.
Hey, brother. Thanks for having me on today. It's an honor and a pleasure. Always do a show with you, Kelly. I appreciate it, man. I'm doing fantastic. I'm enjoying all the FUD world of ETF and watching the price moves and, you know, watching my my daily losses of my portfolio for this year. It's been a horrible year, and we're only in the first week of January. So
horrible, right? But you know what's funny about that? And talk me through this a little bit from your experience, because I think everybody will relate to this. And I haven't even asked you this, but I'm sure because you've been in the game, you know what you're doing. You actually have a great academy yourself, Piper Academy. You're teaching people these things. And what you just said alluded to something I think a lot of people have a problem with in themselves. One of the biggest problems I see within the community is people's inability to manage their emotions and not align their emotions with what's happening with what their goals are over time. So you just made a joke about, you know, so far this year, your portfolio is down. Oh, we're taking losses. And there are people that do that. They could be up for 6 months and then have a bad 15-minute session or a bad 1 week session. Or in this case, we're looking at the start of this year, which is what, 5 days old. Maybe they just started January 1st and they're only down the last 5 days. How does somebody deal with that? What's something they can do to get themselves out of that funk? And what sort of message of hope do you have to make sure that they know that they're looking to the future?
So the one big thing is keeping that dry powder on the side. You got to be ready for those dips that come in if you're still wanting to get your positioning in. Getting in early enough. I mean, at the end of the day, like I can watch my portfolio, you know, dump 10%, which is, you know, like a $30,000 dump off my portfolio, but I'm still up, you know, 30K, 40K, depending on the day from my overall. So, you know, when you have those big dips, I mean, I was able to start buying the bottoms on the monthly chart of Bitcoin very early in. Like I have an indicator that was literally calling the bottoms of every cycle so far that I was using the DCAN. So I was able to get in early enough, but at the end of the day, it's not about how much you lose on a daily basis. If you're in this because you believe in this asset as a class, it's a matter of just watching for where you're going. Where are we going to be at in 2025? When I started this journey back in 2020, it was because I was on a 5-year plan. My plan was I was going to buy my 1/10 of an Ethereum, and I was going to turn that into $1 million on a 5-year plan. That's the plan that I'm still in the middle of. I'm not even close to the end of this yet. I've still got almost 2 years to go before I am in that window of the 5-year plan fruition. So just, you know, keeping your eye on the far off horizon, quit looking at the near target and the near term activity. I explain it in the algorithm all the time. If you guys ever seen the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and you had the kids running through the grass and the waters, like huge droplets of water were crashing all around them. It was like an apocalyptic moment for them. And then the camera zoomed out and the dad was just watering the yard, listening to, you know, air supply. It zoom out a little bit and look at your long-term, the bigger picture. It's for you in that moment, you might feel like you're about to get crushed by water droplets, but it's okay. It's a little sprinkler action going on. Breathe, take it all in, think of the long-term target, see how you're positioned, and do you need to make any adjustments on your further positioning coming down the road. So
I couldn't agree with that more. In fact, this morning, I'm going to throw it up on my screen. You're not going to see it, but everybody here can see it. I wrote this tweet. It said, if you want to truly make it investing and trading assets, especially Bitcoin and crypto, stop focusing on the price. Start looking at the fundamentals, the market cycles, and the data instead. Only then price levels can help identify exact regions for best entries and exits. What's your thoughts on that? Would you say that kind of aligns with what you were just saying there in terms of zooming out and taking in the bigger picture?
Yeah, That's you're exactly on target with that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like right now, fundamentally, we know that Bitcoin has a 4-year cycle. That's, until that changes, that is the thing, and that's the way it works. The halving is coming up. We normally do see pullbacks going into the halving and a little bit post halving sometimes, depending on the cycle. So, we could easily ping off of the, 45, 50K again, hit, even as high as 50,000 and still pull back down into that $30,000 range. Like it's not unheard of. So that's why we sit on some dry powder. I do a lot of trading also, and the trading that I do is literally to make money for dry powder waiting for on the side. That's how I play the game. So
Piper, I'm so glad you said that, because one of the biggest issues I have with people is the nomenclature and the vocabulary in which people speak about the space, not only what they're saying, but how people perceive it. For instance, you and I both invest and trade. And when we talk about taking profits, people think, and they also hear, you should never sell Bitcoin. And they don't understand the difference between what the idea of taking profits isn't just exiting the market entirely. The idea of taking profits is, one, have an organized portfolio, right? Where you have a segmented area that's a long-term assets that you don't touch. You have a trading portfolio, a much smaller percentage of your overall portfolio. And in that portfolio, that's truly where you're taking profits from when you're making moves in that area. And you harvest some of those profits into your long-term holder portfolio. You harvest some of those profits into dry powder, and you leave some of those profits in your trading portfolio. So it's growing in kind with your long-term portfolio. And then you always have stuff on the sidelines. You always have a growing long-term portfolio, and you always have more to trade with. This is my idea of taking profits in this market. Does yours differ in any way? Do you have any other ideas about it that you'd like to share?
no, you hit it. You're 40 for 40. You got expert on that marksmanship there. You're good to go. That's exactly what I'm talking about, bro. Little military marksmanship analogy there. You're dead on it. That's exactly what I do. When I talk about taking profits, I'm not selling anything out of my portfolio bag. I'm taking profits on trades. Sometimes it might be a spot trade. I do some spot trading also. If I have $1,000 on a 10x, that's equal to a $10,000 with no leverage. And sometimes you can't really short spot, but there's ways to do it. There's mixing and stuff out there. So yeah, when I say I'm taking profits, it's on my trades. That profit's not really even profit. I'm not spending it yet. It's sitting there making 5% in USDC while I wait to put it into another dip. So
Well, right on. I think everybody that's here, if you guys want to see some charts, hit the like button right now. We got quite a few people in the room and only half as many likes. Everybody hit the like button, subscribe. Look down below the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. And I think it's time, if you're willing to, would you like to break down some of these charts? I'd like you to start, if you would, by the way, with that 786, the long-term projection chart. And then maybe we can go from there. We can see where the markets are headed. And by the way, if anybody's watching this or the clip version of this, make sure you watch the full-length version of this episode. Now, on to you, Piper. I'm letting you take the reins, baby.
all right, bro, here we go. So this is my master chart that I have been watching for a long time here. It is a Fibonacci channel built on Bitstamp. So I have this full history here, and it's a Fibonacci channel on Bitcoin's history going all the way back here to 2011 here. You can see that over the cycles, we've had these run-ups, peak, that was the market top, come back, touch the golden pocket. We had a peak, come down, touch the golden pocket. This last cycle, we had our top waiting for that 100K, right? We were waiting for that 100,000, which, by the way, would have been right here on this red 236 had we hit that 100K. I think there was a lot of FTX manipulation going on there on price suppression. We heard about that in the trials with Sam Bankman-Fried and the FTX fiasco, if you will. This cycle here, we came down. We've never broken the golden pocket on any bear market cycle previously in the history. Again, come back here, you can see right there, never broke it. This is the first time, and everyone was like, screaming and yelling, but Bitcoin's never gone through an economic collapse. Well, okay, fine. Here we go. This is the economic collapse. We traded in the golden pocket for about 2 months. We broke out of that golden pocket and retested it perfectly on a retest there for rejection. Came down. This is our bottoming here on the markets, and then up we go, right? given I had this little trend line in here that was previous resistance here, that we proved it as support, and we're on our way up. Now, what's interesting about this is, though, I believe back on your show, back at like early last year, I said, look, we're heading here. We didn't even get close to the 786. This is our platinum pocket here. And we pumped up from there. Like it was running towards it in consolidation, did not hit the 786. We just had the same thing happen here again back here in this period of time from August of 2023 to October 2023. As soon as we started getting close to it, it started pushing up away from the 786. I think, when you think about Fibonacci's, and a lot of big thing people don't understand about Fibonacci's is you don't have everybody that's in markets buying and selling and looking at fibs. You do not. But these sequences play out because you got a bunch of people that are reacting to Fibonacci on a programming. Everyone is not coordinating a sell or a buy. These sells and buys happen because everyone is feeling that at that moment that they need to sell or buy, either through fear or through greed, right? So at the end of the day, really, Fibonacci's just kind of a biocomputer programming that people are operating on based on emotion. The Fibonacci sequence is everywhere in the world, right? It's in shells, it's in the universe, it's in flower builds. How the petals, it's the exponential growth ratio, right? The golden ratio. We have this playing out over and over and over every cycle. And this 786, I have called forever that if this kept going and we broke this, then we were in big trouble. We never broke the 786. Every time that we've come towards it on consolidation, we move up. That consolidation right now on the 786, if we were to look at where we are right now, we could pull all the way back to $31,000 and still not break this moving forward. Now, I've gone a little bit further with this, and I've actually broken this down into some setups that have each cycle breakdown, 3-phase setups of each cycle. And I want to pull that up here and show it to you. We're going to go back here and take a look. What's that?
I was saying, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We're going to go back here and take a look at the first cycle here on this 3-phase setup. And then we're going to go and look into where we are now on this 3-phase setup. So we got 3 phases in each cycle. And if you go, these fibs are pulled from candle closes from the tops to the bottoms. Okay. That's how these fibs are pulled on the horizontal fibs overlapping this Fibonacci channel. And during your phase one, that's where you get your bottoming at. That's your candle close consolidation periods. It breaks up and it goes above the 382. From there, we have the golden pocket as the top of phase two. And you can see that we might get a few candles that break down below that 382, but for the most part, phase two holds until we break the golden pocket. And then we have the platinum pocket up here. That's your 786 to 887. You can see we broke into it, had a rejection down. It tested the 0.66 here on the, I know most people use the 0.65. I use the 0.66. If you go back and retest historically, 0.66 plays out more than the 0.65 does on retest ranges for reversals. So I got this golden pocket here. That's where it retests. And once we retest that, we typically move to the upside parabolically post halving. Let's go to the next cycle and let's take a look at this one and see how this one is looking for us. Let's turn it all on here.
I just wanted to shout out Sawtooth Hiker, Alexander G, both gifted 5 memberships each. I went ahead and gifted 10 memberships as well. Just shout out to all the members that are here. Whether you're a member here at BitLab Academy, whether you're a member over at the Piper Academy on his channel. By the way, if you guys haven't checked out his channel, we'll pull up his socials in a bit as well. Make sure you check out his channel. He's always sharing great information, and it's great to bring communities together. Everybody thinks there's competition with YouTubers, and it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, because at the end of the day, I know Piper, I know myself, I know Tim, I know Tom Crown, Frankie Candles, the whole Discover crew. Everybody here, our only goal is to, how do we share where we messed up, where we screwed up? I lost $70,000 in like 2 trades 4 years ago. And I vowed to never do that again. I learned from it. And I obviously also stepped into this public side of things. My goal is to share all the things that I've learned that have helped me win, and also help all of you not step in the same potholes that I did. The question is going to be, and I've failed at this most of my life. People have been there to tell me the right way to do things. No, I know better. I'm going to do it my way. And then what happens? I should have listened to somebody. And that's what this channel is about. I know that's what Army Piper's channel is about. This is about bringing a community together and sharing with you the tools and resources so that you can not only dominate it in this space. Let's be honest, this space is actually irrelevant. We want you to be able to dominate it in life. This space is just one of the tools that's going to help you be able to get there exponentially faster by having more capital if you navigate it right. So I didn't mean to sidetrack you there, Mr. Piper. Hop back in onto it.
No, powerful words, man. Powerful words. You're right. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about is, our saying on Piper Academy is knowledge is profit. The more that I can teach someone, the closer I can get them to that financial freedom where they, can, sit around and watch BitLab Academy and Piper Academy and discover crypto and Frankie Candles and all these great shows all day long while they make money.
Didn't we determine as well, also before the show, if everybody that's here right now, they're working on getting their double major, right? Because they're at the Piper Academy major, and the BitLab. Right. You're getting those double majors. Yeah, all right, let's jump back in these charts.
Double credit today for the viewers and the especially the alumni. Shout out to the alumni, my community that's over there in Piper Academy here in the chat. I appreciate y'all being here. All right, so this cycle here, we had a different thing happen. And obviously we know there was a lot of FUD coming out about the coronavirus and stuff, and so it created this whole different thing. But I do feel like the previous cycle before this is more like what we're matching up on in this bull run having. So this one, we had our bottoming moment here. We did come back up here and we got up to this golden pocket, into the platinum, did the reversal in the platinum pocket like we always do, and then we came back down and we started phase 2 all over again. Now, guys, we broke through on the bottoms here, but you see the golden pocket on this horizontal channel still played it out well. Once we got back in here towards the halving, because we ran into it early. And if you remember the last cycle, we actually got into that phase 2 and into phase 3 right before the halving. From the phase 2 into the phase 3, it was 210 days before the halving. This one here, if you actually go back and look at what that would have been in the first time we went into phase 2, that was 371 days, over a year out. So I do believe that we got into a little too high too quick, and that's why we pulled back into phase 2 pre-halving, and then the corona crashed. But once we got in here, got out of this, you see here we tested that 0.66 right there on that wick. Once we broke in, there's that test again on the 0.66. I told you in the phase 3, if we can test the phase the 66% fib and prove it as support, that is when we have our parabolic run up, just like we had. Drawing lines here, just like we had back here when we tested it, and then that was our lead in. So let's take a look at where we are now.
I'm so happy you're about to do that, because my question was about to be, actually, some people, they see a chart and they're tired of seeing the macro stuff. They're like, but I want to know what's happening now. And I know we're about to get into that. They want to know what's going on the daily chart, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, so they can know what to do in this moment. But I would argue that if you're not regularly, even if you've seen it, I mean, I look at macro charts 7 times a day. I already know what the macro is, but I revisit that to reinstill myself where we're at in a trend based on previous trends. So then when I zoom into that smaller time frame, I have a good understanding of where we're at within a trend, because I talk about it here on BitLab Academy all the time. I like to always consider 3 trends: the macro, the midterm, and the micro. Because if you're not understanding where you're at in the context of each specific trend, you don't know where the best triggers are to make the most money and also keep yourself out of the most trouble. So looking at those big charts and now zooming into where we're going now, how do you feel? I know you just said it's probably more like the 2015, 2016 sort of time. I agree with that. But how are you feeling? If you took the ETF news out of this entirely and you're looking at the charts and you're saying, what is the chart telling me? What's the chart telling you going in through the rest of this month? Are you feeling bullish? Do you think we're going to get that 40% drop?
So when we had the big pullback this week, I pulled up this chart and I told everybody, I know when we look at this 4 hour, everything looks dramatically bearish right now. But let's look at where we are currently on the chart. And I pulled this up and everybody was like, wow, this is telling a whole different story. And here's why. I told everybody this week when this happened, I said, breathe, just breathe, because we're looking beautiful right now. We are exactly where we should be at this point pre-halving. And here's why. We had phase 1 here. Okay. Prove the bottom. We broke the top. You can see there on the top of it, we retested the 236, bounced back up. We hold this line here at about 25,212. I had a previous resistance. I threw it on here as a horizontal support to feed us in going into the phase two. Well, we had the 50% line here, 50% below it, bearish, above it, bullish. We retested it here, got a rejection, tested that support again, and then we broke into phase two. We only spent about a month and a half, a little under 2 months in phase two, and moved right into phase three. You can see where we get our rejection at right there. We got it this week on the 786. We actually hit the 786 and got our rejection. This means our pullback and still be on this set 3-phase cycle of pre-halving should pull us back to the 0.66 at $38,400 range. It's actually coming in at 38,387 on here, but this is where I have this at for the retest. Right now, 38,400 will ballpark it. We should retest this. And if we prove this 0.66 as support, that would be the repeat of every cycle that we've done where we test the 0.66 and run up, where we test the 0.66 and we run up. Guys, we're right on schedule. Everything is in the programming. Everything is working right. We should have a retest back to 38,400 sometime between now and pre-ish, post-ish, right in that halving window. And that should be it. If we do break that, it could wick. I mean, keep in mind, these are candle closes. We could wick all the way down past the golden pocket. So if you got this on a leverage trade, I'm not telling you that the 0.66 is going to be your holding spot for the candle wick itself. I'm saying for candle close on the weekly, we should be able to hold 38,400. If we do wick down, be watching for that 618 at 36,300 area, which, by the way, would also close out the CME gap that everyone keeps talking about down there. So there you go.
I agree with such. Yeah, what I really like about doing this, Army, is I feel very selfish. Yes, I think it's so great that I can share this with everybody that's in the community, but even me, and I'm sure you feel the same way, when I'm doing, I do analysis all day long, every day, not only in Discord, but here on YouTube, but also just for myself, right? And it's really nice to get out of my own echo chamber and not just watch other people's stuff, but have a discussion like this and see you and what your process is through going through TA. So anybody out there watching, even if you've been in the game for a while, maybe you've had success, maybe you haven't. The whole purpose of, I think, my interpretation of these channels is whether you agree or disagree, they add value by at least either reinforcing certain things or challenging or offering new ways to look at something. So this being said, you know, looking at Bitcoin, where we're at right now, what's your thoughts? I know there's been a lot of chatter lately regarding Ethereum because Ethereum hadn't really moved. Do you feel like is there a reason for that? And we don't need to get into the news stuff, but looking at the chart, does it feel like it's something that's coiling up for a move, or is Bitcoin gonna be the star of the show in the Bitcoin to Ethereum sort of game for the time being?
It's funny because as you're saying that, I get an article pop up here. Ethereum can expect a bull run triggered by restaking surge in Q1, Q2 of 2024. So there you go. TradingView has answered this question for you. No, yeah, I think, look, you got to remember, Ethereum, everyone said it was dead last cycle. He who shall not be named kept pushing on Ethereum that it was going to do great. And that it was going to do this amazing run up. Everyone kept saying that Ethereum was dead. There was 1,001 Ethereum killers last cycle, and Ethereum traded pretty much at $1,900 most of the bull run. And then out of nowhere, it rocketed, took off, and exploded. I don't know if you've seen an article recently, but the co-founder and founder of Solana have actually talked about the importance of Ethereum's existence because Solana could be a layer 2 solution for Ethereum. Even the big Ethereum killers of the last bull run cycle still know that their place is either running secondary to Ethereum or being an assisting blockchain for layer 2 on Ethereum's layer 1. So I think Ethereum's got the same history, the same prediction potential that it has historically. It outperforms Bitcoin every cycle. So if Bitcoin's going to do amazing, Ethereum is going to be right behind it on the ETF news. It's going to be right behind it on what it always does, and that's going to be an astronomical run up. It's my second biggest bag.
Well, let's
My
pull
top,
it up. Let's pull it up on the chart and see how you're looking at it.
Okay, let's do that. Let's pull up Ethereum here. I want to grab Ethereum, and let's go ahead and pull in where we are right now. And I'm looking at this on the 4 hour. I want to bring this over to the daily. So I've got this fibs on here. These fibs are being pulled from back here on our last attempt to push up and break this this little resistance that we had here. It retested it and fell, and that would be back on April of 2022 to its bottom point here in June of 2022. Okay. And what I've been watching here is how it's been playing out so perfectly on this golden pocket. Again, the 0.66 there. Let me zoom that up a little bit. You can see 1, 2, 3 rejection points there on that 0.66. We do also have this long running trend line, and this long running trend line here on Ethereum goes all the way back to November of 2022. So over a year ago, about a year and 2 months ago, we had, multiple support lines here, bounce. We broke it there. And then we came back up, had a little resistance. Now we're back above it. Even this big wick off sell off that we had this week, back here on Wednesday morning, when this happened, we still pulled back up for candle close. And this is the line that we're testing right now. So we got the strong trend line coming up. So if you look at it this way, we've got a horizontal resistance. We've got a diagonal support. What is that right there, Kelly?
Ooh, rising, ascending triangle.
That is a rising wedge or a descending triangle. And those typically, a rising wedge, because it's a horizontal top with the wedge down, those typically break to the upside. This diagonal support is typically much stronger than this horizontal resistance. So as this continues on, sometime here in the next, let's go in here, sometime here in the next 45-ish days, we should have a breakout to the upside above this 0.66. And if we do that, we're heading up to the platinum pocket for our next range test. And that's going to be sitting around $2,700. So that's what I'm seeing on Ethereum right now. Just looking at some basic TA there. If we actually go in here and take a look at what we've got on chart prime indicators, we've got a money flow point of control here. Let me get rid of some of this Mexican spaghetti, as I say. One of my guys over there on my show, because it's me, Tradefly, and OC guy every morning. He's lives in Cozumel, Mexico. OC does, and he gets all these white lines on there, and I call it Mexican spaghetti. So But look at here what we've got here. We're sitting on this money flow point of control. This is very similar to a point of control on volume, like a fixed range volume profile, a point of control, but that's based on volume. This is based on the biggest money flow. Sometimes the most money in a particular direction is not necessarily the most volume. So this money point of control is sitting near a support right now, and it does look like we are back in the zero line here. I'm watching how tight this is getting. If you look at this, the cloud here on the momentum cloud for the Oscillator Pro here, it's getting really tight here. I do suspect that we are about to see either a breakout where this cloud can widen up. Think of it like a VWAP inside this oscillator, where this could be pulling down a little bit. If it does, I'm watching for my long running trend line here. This let me turn this off for a second, and you'll see what this is. This box goes back here. I call it a T box. Shout out TA Tim. A little rectangle box here. This was previous resistance back here in April of 2023, and it was now been our support. So if we do get a breakdown off of this, watch for that support line and possibly bounce back up. But right now, that would open this cloud up a little bit on momentum here. But I do think that we're going to see an upside movement here sometime in the next 45 days on Ethereum to the upside. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, of course, we've got 3, I think, tokens. I think if you still have time, maybe 10 more minutes. You still got 10 minutes with me?
Brother, I got time for you all day. I'm retired. This is all I do. Let's go.
I asked him, I said, hey man, before the stream started, I said, hey man, congratulations on retirement. He said, I don't feel like I'm retired. And it's funny how that happens. It's analogous to life. How, like when you're a kid and you clean your room, and something about cleaning your room, in that moment, you're like, oh, I'm done. And in our mind as a kid, we're like, that means I don't ever have to do it again. And 3 days later, you're like, oh, I have to clean it again. And it happens time and time again. And the same thing is true. You just retired, but now you're building this business. And the same thing is true when we're doing analysis. You can never say, oh, I did the technical analysis, because technical analysis changes every second. Every second, there's a new story, there's a new construct, there's a new narrative or a shaping of that narrative. And that's what technical analysis is all about. All it is, it's a visual representation of candles on a graph that are showing us visually what's the sentiment of the market, what's the dominant sentiment of the market over time. Is it dominant, very dominantly bullish? That's when you get those very quick moves up. Is it very dominantly bearish? That's when you get those very quick moves to the downside. And is there a battle going on? That's when you get the consolidations. And we're always trying to figure out which direction is there more confluence of suggestion of underlying data saying this price might be moving up, but the underlying data says there's no fuel in that car. You can't expect that to get up the hill. So then you don't take that long. Maybe you take a short, or maybe you exit along. And this is what we want to do. So with this being said, we just talked about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but the communities, I think 3 of the strongest communities in the space right now are Cardano, XRP, and Solana. And I'm not gonna champion one over the other. Everybody has different perspectives on those. But what are you seeing? Are you okay to go through those charts and see what you're seeing on those?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So taking a look here on Solana, I'm looking at the 4-hour here. Let's go ahead and bring this down. There we go. So I've got this T-box. Let me turn off the chart prime indicators real fast. There we go. So I got this T-box here that I said back here. It's like, look, guys, this is going to be our box. There's some indicators that I had on that was telling me that we were looking for the top range here, bottom range here. The bottom range being the 618, top range, I believe, was the dynamic reactor at the time. Played out perfectly here. That was our bottom retest. There was our rejection. We had a test, a test, a test. We wicked down here, but that's a Bitcoin dump. You can't control that on altcoins. If Bitcoin's dumping, the altcoins are usually going to follow with it and get that volatility to the downside. But now we're back inside of this T-box holding on the golden pocket. I'm still holding that $91.39 is a fantastic entry spot. If you're looking, if I was going to buy some more Solana, that would be where I would look at on $91.40, 39 cents there. And this red T-box absolutely playing in. If I go ahead and pull in and we take a look at what we're seeing here on the other indicators, get this smart AI algorithm that it's way smarter than me. You can see here our dynamic reactor continuing to give us that bounce. This is basically an algorithmic moving average, but it is not a 200. Everyone asks that all the time. You throw a 200 up on there, it will not match up with this. This is a whole bunch of things. It's reading momentum, it's reading volume, money flow, all kinds of things inside of it. And you can see every time we touch it, we've been getting bounces off of it, with the exception of the Bitcoin sell-off here on that fear this week. But right now, we're in the dynamic reactor. We're on the golden pocket. I'm feeling good about this. If we take a look at what we tend to do, when we do break this, we tend to come back and test the next level of Fibonacci. I'm watching right now for that to be what we hold at $91.39. Now, let's say we do get some type of FUD that comes out on this ETF. Bitcoin starts selling off, dumping. Everyone goes, I'm taking the profits that I've made because we're still sitting in a decent profit range on where I bought my Bitcoin. Then, of course, as I said earlier, on the 50%, it likes to get tested as bullish support or bearish resistance, being that we're coming down to it. That would be the next level that I would look at, would be that about $75.39, $75.40 there. Oddly enough, or ironically enough, I should say, we do have a very high strength order block down there also, sitting down there with about 45% of the liquidity entered in at this zone right here. So if we do break this golden pocket at $91, be looking for this order block sitting right here perfectly on the 50% at $75.40 on Solana. Taking a look on this, and of course I'm on 4-hour charts, so these can change quickly, but RSI primed, what this is an RSI. It's your traditional RSI turned into candlesticks. And I got it running on Fibonacci because I get a really good confluence on here where I see the Fibonacci candles start to get low. And what do you know? We get movements up. We start to get those thin ones there, where we're starting to get thin again on Fibonacci. Down we go. Well, right now we've got really large candle sizes here on this RSI prime, and we're heading down to that 30% line right now. Oh, I just totally moved that. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry. We're sitting here right now with this, with these big candles. I'm going to be watching for these Fibonacci candles to start getting smaller and smaller, like we tend to see here, like we tend to see here, where they get smaller before we flip. And if they start to get those, then I'll definitely be feeling that this T box here, dynamic reactor in the golden pocket here, going to be giving us that upside movement. As of right now, though, does look like we have a little bit more downside on Solana here throughout the day, especially right here where we see the Ichimoku oscillator definitely showing us that we're heading back down into our lower box there. So I'm watching again. $91.40 is my biggest lean on that I'm leaning towards for a level. But if we do break that, no stress, no worries. 75.40. Look for a bounce on the 50%.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Yeah, I like use different tools than I do, but they effectively do similar things in different ways. So it's interesting to see the way you're breaking these things down. Now, what are you seeing for Cardano?
Let's go grab some ADA. ADA right there. Oh, Cardano, what are you doing? If you take a look here, we have the 382 on Cardano, and let me go turn off everything so we can walk this in on target from the top. This box here, these Fibonacci's, these are based on back here, going all the way back to April of 2022. That's our high there, down to the bottom wicking that we had right here on June of 2023. So moving in here, you can see that where we've had our biggest rejection and biggest fight has been on the 382. We can't even get up to this. I got a red box up here for resistance. It's sitting up here waiting patiently. We haven't even been able to test the 50% on ADA. ADA's been running pretty weak so far this cycle. Mind you, when we have that happen on a coin where it hasn't moved, everyone starts to get very bearish on it. They start to lose hope in it. They sell it, and then what happens? Bam, it pops off, right?
You know what it does?
So
it chain links them.
Yes, it sure does.
Everybody was worried. This is one of those things, even that comment I made earlier that I tweeted this morning about stop being so focused on price, look at fundamentals. Chainlink has been developing and broadening themselves and integrating themselves, or being integrated, which is even more impactful, into the entire crypto ecosystem. They're one of the most utilized projects out there amongst all different crypto, most crypto projects, as well as real world. It's a bridge between the real world and crypto. It's as well as crypto to crypto. It's such an incredible project, and it ranged sideways for, I think it was like 580 days, something ridiculous. And then what did it do?
Absolutely.
It front ran everything else in the market. Why? Because it had all that coiled up momentum that had not yet been released, but the fundamentals were growing over time. So of course, where's it going to go when you have demand increasing and the supply is negligibly increasing compared to demand, and the integration is it's just, that's what you want to look for. So if something's not moving, maybe you need to not ask, should I jump out? You say, what are the fundamentals? Are there things happening in the background that are not yet reflected in price? Maybe that's an opportunity to not be mad that it's not moving, but that you still have the opportunity to stack because it hasn't moved.
Yeah, one thing that I'm really watching closely here on Cardano, and you bring up great points. It's when you least expect it, right? I've been a huge bull of Chainlink since you know me. I've had me in this hat. We go together, right? Everyone knows me for my hat. Chainlink is one of those things, and I think Cardano's in that also. But I am a little bit more concerned about Cardano right now, and here's why. I think we have some more downside coming on Cardano. Our 236 is sitting down here at about 47 cents. Our RSI is still sitting above the 30 line. And if you take a look at what Cardano usually does on RSI Prime, it typically breaks very low below that 30, running an average here of about 11.712 or 12 on the RSI levels, right? So we still have quite a bit of downside. You can see here this green on the Ichimoku signal line. It's starting to turn light green to yellow right there. Typically, when that happens, we go into more downside. I think that what we're seeing right now is a downside move to this 47-cent line here. And I would hate to say it, guys, but it could even be heading down to all of these order blocks that are sitting right here with the money flow. Your money flow POC is sitting down at about 38 cents right now. I love ADA. I have a huge bag of it. I think it's like number 4 or 5 in my bag right now in my portfolio. but definitely be watching for more downside potential coming, especially since we can't even get up to test that 50% line. We need to come back. You can see here, THM says this all the time. When you bust through a Fibonacci level, you bust through a resistance level, and you just crash through that door, and you don't go back and close the door right behind you, eventually you have to come back and close the door. We busted through here and never came back to retest it. Again, I think 47 cents. And, lo and behold, God forbid, if that doesn't hold, again, that money flow point of control down here with all these order blocks down at about 40 cents. So,
and not only that, everybody, any of you out there that are holding ADA or any asset that we say may have an opportunity to fall, if it upsets you, let that be a story to yourself. Let that be something that informs you. If that upsets you, then that means maybe you're not fully educated. And this isn't a slam. This is a good insight that you should have on yourself. Maybe you're not aware of the market cycles in crypto. Anytime I see right now, when I'm looking at any chart right now and I see a potential pullback, it makes me excited as I can be, because I'm like, oh man, I thought I missed that. Okay, it's giving me another opportunity before it gets itself in its Rolls Royce and rolls away. Right now, you can still get in the Honda. So don't be mad if the Honda opens its door again. Okay? Otherwise, at the same point, you're gonna be mad in the future. Why didn't I stack up more below when right now the opportunity is likely presenting itself? Because the other thing that I want to just bring up here, Piper, is right now there's so much tension. There's so much. Let me say this again. There's so much tension right now regarding the ETFs and the imminent approval, and it must be imminent. And some people think it might be today, Friday, January 5th. Some people think it might be as early as Monday next week. Large in part, we've seen the people that know what they're talking about are saying 8th to 10th is probably the most likely earliest. And not only is that most likely the earliest for the approval doesn't mean immediately everything is being traded right away and there's this huge flow and all of a sudden price goes to 500,000. I think there's a lot of tension around what's happening with ETFs and when they get approved and what the flow is going to look like and the volume is going to be immediately following the release of those ETFs. So what do you think is going to, like, for instance, do you think we're going to have a very choppy weekend, or you think we're going to be fairly stable because nobody's willing to sell? How do you think this is going to play out over the next week and a half if things get pushed all the way to the 10th?
I think you're going to see a big wick to the downside this weekend. And I say wick, not candle. I think the volatility this weekend is going to be crazy because you got a lot of people that are scared right now that it's going to go down lower. They feel like they're losing money because they don't realize that 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. We're not there yet as a community. We don't have that mentality yet. Right now, people look at 1 Bitcoin equals, what is it? 1 Bitcoin equals $43,450. No one thinks 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. So until you sell it, you haven't lost any money. And when that mentality is not present, you get people that when they see that pullback, they're going to sell probably at a loss. A lot of people do. And then it's going to pump back up. I think that this weekend you're going to see volatility with a wicking down and then a bounce back up to the upside before Monday's market open, heading into the January 9th, January 10th predictions here. I don't think we're going to see that ETF today. We would have seen that already. Of course, SEC, they might do it at the oddest time ever. So who knows? But yeah, I think this weekend you're going to see some volatility in choppy markets. I got XRP up. You asked for XRP. You want that one?
Yeah, let's do XRP and then we'll wrap it out and let everybody get on to their day and back in the charts and seeing what they want to do with their assets. So let's continue breaking it down and then we'll wrap it out.
All right, I got two things going on here. One is let me turn my fibs off here so I can show you the fixed range volume profile. Oh, nope, I just turned off the fixed range volume profile, not the fib. There we go, fibs off. So this fixed range volume profile goes all the way back here to 28 March 2022. We've got your value area low down here. That's the purple line below. This is your value area high above. There's your money. There's your point of control right there, your POC. We wicked perfectly down here, little tiny wicking below it, but pretty much wicked right down to the value area high and proved it as support. It does look like it's got some sell-off going here, but I want to point out a couple of things on the oscillators. One, we got a lot of oversold blocks down here in uptrend era. We're sitting pretty decent right here below the 30% line on the RSI, and our signal line is buried deep in the bearish zone here, in the bullish zone, I should say, which means we have a likely upside coming here. Where I'm going to be watching for a bounce on XRP, keep in mind, RSI can still run all the way down here to about 13 and still be in the normal averages of the low pullbacks on RSI. But if we do pull back, I'm looking at this 382 at 52.6 cents here. That's going to be a good bounce for that. And also, if we go over here and we pull on the the dynamic reactor here, let me pull it up here on the 4 hour. You'll see that we got a little bit of support coming in here. Where are you? Oh, sorry, it was daily. It was daily, not 4 hour. I was looking at it while we were talking and I got the wrong one. If you look at this, we got a little bit of support coming in right here on a trend assistant that looks like it's pointing down right here, going to be lining up perfectly on that 382. So we did have a candle close on that dynamic reactor. Typically, when we're below it, we will come back up and retest it. If we do that, look for a retest at about 58 cents and then a push down to that that 382 line right there. That's coming in at 52.65 cents. So
You're just dropping alpha today. It's like substitute teacher day. No, this isn't the substitute teacher that doesn't know what he's talking about. You're in here bringing in your Piper Academy vibes, sharing everything that you got with us, and I appreciate you. If you are an alumni from Piper Academy, let me know in the chat right now. Let's see. Let's shout out all those people that are coming over from that community, and I want to shout out to also Lee Colify. Gave a $9 super chat talking a little bit about the Jesus token. Maybe it's meeting listing requirements for Coinbase. Yeah, I don't know. But I'll take a look at that in the off time, but not here on the stream. Try to keep it more focused on assets that are here and doing it. And once they get some volume and things are doing it, I don't like bringing up just random different tokens because I don't want to push people in the direction to something that I haven't vetted myself. But I do appreciate that super chat, and I appreciate all the members, all of you with the BitLab beakers that are next to your name. And I see quite a few have those beakers filling up, meaning you've been members for a while. So shout out to that. I think we got 12 members left, and then we'll get a new emoji so long as other ones don't fall off. I know some of the gifts fall off, but big love to each and everybody here. Mr. Piper, do you have anything else you wanted to share? Anywhere people could find you? Anything you got coming up?
Yeah, so I do a live stream every Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Piper Academy. It's myself, TradeFly, OC Guy. You can find Piper Academy on the socials. Do you want me to pull it up? You want to pull it up?
You can pull it up.
All right, let me pull that up here. Piper Academy, go to my channel, view your channel. There we go. That's what you guys will see on the YouTube, that right there. Piper Academy, putting out stuff every day. Alpha knowledge is profit. So got about 556 subscribers. We're about 2 months old. So, not a long time, but it's pretty decent growth in 2 month time period. So you can find us there. And then on X, Piper Academy, and then also at Army Piper, all one word, for my personal. So that is what we have there for shows and content. And we've got a bunch of stuff coming out. Got a new studio that I'm actually moving to as soon as I'm off the air with you today. I'm moving all of my equipment to a new studio, and we're going to be cranking out all kinds of content from there. Got Crux of Crypto is going to be doing Crux's curriculum every week, where he's breaking down different projects, giving you guys like who the developers are, vetting the team and all that stuff. So he'll be doing that every week on a different project. And then my son's ETS Rhythm, he's going to be doing some blockchain game breakdowns because, he's a gamer. So I was like, hey, look, check out some games in on blockchain and let's do some content. Making this a family business, So
Right on. Well,
yeah.
I'm happy to see you moving along. I'm happy to see you grow in the space. I appreciate what you do. And also, you and I are both veterans in the military. I retired.
Yes, we are.
I retired back in 2004, I think, 2004, 2005. But I was only 19, just about to be 20 when I retired. You actually did the full 20 plus. So big love to you and your wife as well.
I retired July 1st. So I'm newly retired like 6 months ago. So
yeah. Well, I just want this to be a message to everybody out there. If you're watching, if you're here with us, I appreciate you. I know Army Piper appreciates you. And I want I truly want for you what's best for you. I don't want anything from you. The only thing I want from you is for you to feel proud about what you're doing every day. For you, I've noticed in my life what happiness is. Let me say this. I've noticed in my life what happiness is a culmination of how you feel about what you're doing over time. If you're unhappy, it's not because this movie isn't great or the thing you're doing with your friend isn't great or going out isn't fun anymore. It's because you realize you're not moving towards your goals. So ask yourself, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling a little bit disoriented or, disengaged with the things that are going on in your life, ask yourself, do I feel like what I'm doing over time is collectively the net positive is moving me towards the things I care about or away from them? Because that to me is what the number one thing is that drives you away from happiness, from contentment, from feeling honor about how you're living your life. Now, that doesn't mean relaxing can't be a hell of a good time, because it is, and that's part of life balance. But that should be something that gives you a bonus from all the time that you spent working towards your goals. So that's what I wanted to say to wrap this out. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, my name's Kellam, and I really appreciate you being here. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, and we will see you again, I'm sure, next week. And I got some stuff coming out over this weekend as well. If you didn't yet, make sure you check in over at bitlabacademy.com. We do have a giveaway, not a giveaway, we have a discount right now. New Year 30, all one word, New Year 30 for 30% off your first month. Click right here to enroll. And also in the Discord, get in here. This is the free portion of the Discord. I shared some of our newsletter right in here, and actually the whole thing, you can download it right here. Great alpha in here. Get involved in here. We got so many different charts, scalps, calls, setups, training, classrooms, private streams, all this and more at bitlabacademy.com. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Ask yourself this weekend, are you relaxing because you need to, or are you running away from the things that you need to do? I love you. I appreciate you. Let's get it. Let's do this together. That's all I got. I'm sure Army Piper, you want to give them a wave goodbye? Adios. Adios, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Hit that like button, sucker.